Hey Rockstars, Lid Shaw, I'm here at NAMM 2020. We're just kind of like relaxing a little bit on the end of the first day here.
End of the first day, yeah. We're still standing, it's good. Still got my voice?
You know, that's good.
Come
man.
back tomorrow, check
Your voice
in.
Sounds great too.
Thank you.
So we're at the Roswell Pro audio booth. I'm here with Mr. Matt McGlynn, man.
Right
How
on,
are
yeah.
you?
Hey Rockstars, good to see you again. We've been here before.
We've been here before. We'll be here again.
That's right.
So what should we look at today?
So new mic for your audience would be the Mini K87.
Yeah.
We introduced this AES, so October of last year. And so your listeners are probably familiar with the Mini K47.
Oh yeah.
Because you did that amazing video where you made the jingle. If you haven't seen it, you have to see Lidge's video of the Mini K47. We're actually showing it here at the booth. We've got a video demo set up, just the highlights, because your video goes on. It's great. It's like a day in the life, maybe 2 or 3 days in the life with Lidge at the toy box there. So anyway, you guys probably know the Mini K47. So the thing about the Mini K47 is it's really, and the reason I'm talking about that one, not the one that we're supposed to be talking about, is because the contrast is interesting, and the contrast is really why they both exist. You know, there is no one mic that works on every source. You know this. Yeah. Probably everyone here knows this.
Well, you know, and you did a wonderful podcast episode with me where you talked about, you know, how to build out your mic locker and how to understand the different capsules and the different amp, you know, the head amps and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fun because that's all about the transducer, the capsule and the circuit, and the contributions that those components make to the sound.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Mini K47 was our first mic, and it's been a runaway success, which is really great, really gratifying. But it has a certain sound to it. It has a little bit of a character to it, and in a lot of cases, that character is really helpful and useful. For example, it brings focus to guitars and drums due to its polar pattern and its frequency response. Like on drum overheads, it hears a little bit less of the room, which in a challenged room is a really good thing.
Yeah, indeed. We have a lot of challenged rooms out there too.
We do. Well, yeah, everyone does. I mean, they're hard to record. I'm a drummer, I know this. I mean, and I've recorded a lot of drums in a room with an 8-foot ceiling, and it sucks. But we get by.
Speaking of which, I recently recorded drums with the Delphos, a whole nother mic from you guys, and they sounded amazing. So I'll have to get you those to check out soon too.
Yeah. So anyway, the Mini K47 does a lot of things well, but it has a characteristic color to it. The capsule has a sound, and when that sound matches your source and it works with your production, then it's magic and it just works great. But sometimes that color and character is not what you need. And that is why, tying this back around, that is why the Mini K87 exists.
Yeah.
So this is the new mic, and so the Mini K87, so it's in the same housing, same form factor as the Mini K47. It's a different color in two ways. One is it's literally a different color. It's like a gray-blue instead of black, but more critically, it's a different sonic color.
Yeah.
Okay, it has a different frequency response. It has a different capsule in it than the Mini K47 has, and it has a similar circuit, but not the same circuit. Okay, so when we design a microphone, we make a circuit and a capsule that work well together because it's a system. It's not just mix and match, pick and choose. Let's throw this capsule on this circuit and we're going to call that a microphone. There are companies that do that. I can make you a list of names, I'm kidding. But when we make a microphone, I try to make something that's going to solve problems for people because that's why we do what we do, and that's why we've been fortunate that people really seem to love the microphone.
Wait, so your microphone will play my guitar better for me?
Yes, well that's actually the next version. It's a software upgrade.
Okay, cool. That might be the problem I need solving with sometimes.
Yeah. So the Mini K87, it has a very flat, very full frequency response. The Mini K47 has a bump in the upper mids. This one doesn't, so it's very flat and neutral, but what you see a lot of the time in mics in this price range, so this mic streets for $399, and what you see a lot in the kind of sub $500 range, and you've heard this I'm sure, is a lot of hype, a lot of 10K, and the first time you hear that it sounds like detail, especially if you're a newer, kind of up and coming engineer, those really bright microphones, it sounds like they're really detailed, but the next day or the 10th listen during the mix process and it just becomes painful.
Or if you've overdubbed with that same mic on everything kind of thing.
Yeah, and those high frequencies stack up. They also tend to distort too, and they get harsh and unwieldy, and so
I think the term that you and Frank Zappa have both used is ice pick in the ear.
Yeah. I have used those. I've used that phrase before. So none of my mics sound like that, but the Mini K87 has a tiny bump up there, like talking about 1 decibel. Some microphones.
The 87 does?
The 87 does.
Okay.
The some microphones will have like 5 or 8 decibels extra. So if you look at the frequency chart, you'll see a big hump up there, and it doesn't sound good. For most sources, it doesn't sound good. My mics don't do that, so this has just a tiny bit of air on top, but it's basically pretty flat.
Now, how would you describe the frequency characteristic of the 47, for example?
So that has a bump around 4 or 5 kilohertz, and it's not a small 1 decibel bump. It's a couple of dB. But the thing about this is, all frequencies are not created equal. So, I can give you 2 or 3 decibels at 4 or 5K, and it just sounds good. But if I gave you that or more at 10K, it would get painful and harsh, because they're all, your ear isn't really flat either.
Yeah.
So your ear has its own curve. But the way to think about this is the microphone exists to help you create the mix that you're trying to create. And my friends over at AEA, Ribbon Mics, Wes and Sarah Dooley, she came up with a line actually. Wes's wife, Sarah, fixed it in the mic. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's too good. I wish she hadn't thought of that. But it's so right. And as an engineer, you know this, that you can put up any mic and you can EQ it for days, and that kind of works, but it's so much better if you just put up the mic that gives you the sound that you want.
Yeah.
So the point of these is, like the Mini K47, it's great for drums because it gives you more of the drum and less of the cymbal and a little bit less of the room. So it brings focus to the instrument. If you were going to record an electric guitar in a really busy mix, I would point you at the Mini K47, because that 4K bump helps the guitar cut through the mix without just being louder.
I'd almost call that like an upper mid-range presence frequency, right?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that at all. So now the Mini K87, it works on all the same sources, but if you were going to do like a solo acoustic guitar thing, I would do a matched pair of these, or the Delphos.
Of the 87s,
the 87, because it's a flatter, more neutral, it gives you the sound of the instrument in the room without any alteration or color or anything like that.
Now, do we call this a large diaphragm mic or like a mid-sized diaphragm?
No, it is large. Absolutely, without question, large diaphragm. The mic is small, so the Mini in the name refers to the diminutive size of the housing, but all of these microphones have a full 34 millimeter capsule in them.
Okay.
The other thing that you do see with lower cost mics is that they'll use a 32 millimeter capsule, because that's what's readily available in China, but we didn't do that way. We use a full 34 millimeter diameter capsule.
And in one sentence, why is it that you know so much about microphones?
Long nights, and it's kind of my passion.
Yeah, you've been doing things like with recording hacks and stuff like that. You've been basically reviewing and designing and modifying microphones for decades.
I wouldn't say decades, but it's been a long time. Yeah. So, recordinghacks.com was my first project, and it was all about, my elevator pitch for that is Wikipedia for microphones.
Right.
So, a lot of time spent.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
That's my point. It's like you learned everything about getting a mic to sound good, how to modify it, doing the right thing, and then made a mic of your choosing, in design.
Right. Yeah. So all the Roswell mics are my designs. So. I do the circuit board layout and do the voicing and everything. So it's very much a labor of love. I mean, I'm not going to put out a microphone that I don't want to use.
Right.
So
they're awesome.
Yeah, they're all. I designed them to solve certain problems, or to fit certain niches. And again, every microphone, every microphone's good at something. Yeah. No single microphone is good at everything. So you have to have a bunch, and that's why when you go into a studio, your studio or any studio, you're going to see 5, 10, 20, 50 microphones. Why? Well, because they're all good at something. And what we're trying to do is make microphones with different colors, sonic colors. And in fact, one of the things we're playing with now is it's also new, so I'll mention. So on the Mini K47 and K87, we make matched pairs. So they're matched to a fairly meticulous degree for both sensitivity and frequency response, and those are great for drum overheads or piano or other stereo sources. We're doing a new thing called the Mini K mixed pair, where it's not matched at all. It's one of these. It's a Mini K87 and a Mini K47.
Ooh, I like that.
And we sell that at a discount, so it's like 10% off. We don't have the fancy cardboard box. You know, we usually make cool packaging for all of our products.
Yeah.
We don't have the cool box for that mixed pair yet, which is one of the reasons we're able to discount it. But the idea is that the singer-songwriter, you know, young studio guy who's not sure what he needs or wants to cover a lot of sonic territory without having to do a lot of shopping, you buy this mixed pair and you have two very different sounding microphones, which is going to give you a ton of sources that you can record very well.
Yeah. Well, so of course the question that we all want to know is, what kind of price point are we talking about to pick up these mini mics? Because they're awesome, and I know they're very affordable.
Yeah. So Mini K47 is $349. Mini K87 is $399. It costs more because tuning a neutral mic to meet our specs just takes that much extra effort.
Okay, cool.
So this mic is individually tuned and just dialed in. And then the mixed pair is, the cost on the mixed pair is $349 plus $399 less 10%, whatever that number is.
Right, okay, cool. Awesome. And then where should the rock stars go if they want to check it out and go pick one up?
I thought you'd never ask. RoswellProAudio.com. Come on by, we'd love to see you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for watching this, rock stars. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, man. Cheers. See you guys in the next video.